Hi, I'm Steve Metcalf, and I'm here to talk about hackamores. This video is brought to you by Bimeda, makers of Polyglycan and Equimax. We used to show every event, pleasure horses, trail horses, that was what our program was, cow horses, reiners. The hackamore is just not for a reined cow horse. Hackamores are used in the pleasure horse industry. You see a lot of people on their junior horses, horses that are 4 and under, showing in the hackamore. And we just want to make sure that these hackamores fit these horses properly. I just want to say that size matters. This is an example of a hackamore that is too big for this little-headed horse. I go to a lot of horse shows, and periodically I'll see a fella going around there, and that horse is kind of dragging that guy around, and he's got a hackamore that's hanging off of him, and it's just a matter of fit. And this hackamore is way too large for this horse. I'm going to go ahead and get another hackamore and put it on him and show how I would like to see it fit this horse. So this is a 5/8 diameter, but it's also 10.5, 11 inches long rather than 13. Once you get one that fits properly, you can move this hackamore up and down a horse's nose. If we want to get their nose a little more, we can lower that hackamore. If we want to elevate a horse and get out their shoulders, to stand their shoulders up, we can elevate that hackamore, and then we can get to the jaw a little bit more. That's basically the function of a hackamore, is we're working off the nose and the jaw. Now I'm going to talk about why size matters. So this is what we call a 5/8, and when I say 5/8, the diameter is 5/8. And this is a Don Brown hackamore. It's not rawhide, it is kangaroo. But when you take this hackamore and bend it, I call this a medium hackamore as far as strength goes. Now here I've got a 1/2 inch. It's smaller, but it's not less. It's actually more. More meaning more strength. It's got some bite. It's not for a green horse. It's for a hackamore horse that's been in the hackamore. Basically, we have soft hackamores, medium hackamores, and hackamores that are pretty stiff. But within all of those, they have flexibilities. And sometimes I will take a hackamore and I'll bend it like that, and you can hardly bend it, but it doesn't have any what I call life in it. And this is an old Don Brown that I've had for years, and it's a hard. But when I bend it, it comes back to its shape and it has life. Here's a J Adcock. This is a 3/4. It's more of a medium, but it has life. And back to this 1/2 inch. This is probably the stoutest hackamore of the ones here, but it's only 1/2 inch in diameter, but it has life. But the core in it is much stronger. This hair rope is a 3/4. When I say 3/4, diameter. The rest of these hair ropes are 5/8. I kind of like having a little more weight and having a 3/4. Not on every hackamore, but on some of them. I feel like if I've got a horse that's real soft, I can just kind of jiggle those reins a little bit. There's a little more weight to the 3/4. And so it makes my horse maybe a little more showy. Also, I have people ask me, why do you use those hair ropes, those prickly, they kind of, I've got soft hands and it kind of bites my hands. Well, the theory is in the old days, and it's mane hair, it's not tail hair. You don't want to own a tail hair rope that you're showing him because it's really coarse. So you always want to buy mane hair ropes. But in the old days, the theory was when you're showing a horse and you lay that hair rope across that horse's neck, it kind of irritates him a little bit, makes him turn a little faster. That's why I like hair ropes. Just gives you a little edge. So we've talked about size matters. Now we're going to talk about putting the mecate on the hackamore and how to tie it. So this is a 5/8 Adcock hackamore. And here's the hanger right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hair mecate and I'm going to put that knot down there like that. And because this is a smaller hackamore, not in dimension but in length, I'm not going to have to take a lot of wraps on this hackamore so that it falls off a horse too hard. I'm going to take one wrap like so, and then I'm going to come through and I'm going to pull this hackamore, and my length of my reins is the length of my arms. And I pulled my reins through. Now the secret to this is a lot of people don't do this, but I've got a twist right here. You can see that this is facing that way, and I want the reins, and I'll have people come to me and say, you know, I tied my hackamore and it feels terrible. I've got a kink all the time. Well, when you do this, all you have to do is take this and roll it. And I'm gonna roll this like that until that hair rope looks like a set of reins. Now I know that my reins aren't going to twist. I have rolled this until it opens up like that. Now I'm going to take my hand like this, and I'm going to bring my hand around. I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to run it through here, and it's a half hitch. Now, there's more than one way to tie a mecate onto a hackamore, but I find that this works very well because if I'm at the horse show and maybe my reins are a little long, all I have to do is loosen up that one knot like that, and I can just pull my reins and make them shorter. If I have to make a small adjustment before I show, I'm not in panic mode to where I have to completely untie this. I can make it shorter or I can make it longer, and then I can pull my knot. And that way you're not freaking out at the back gate, oh gosh, my reins are too long. So that's how I prefer to do that. You can, if you have a bigger hackamore, you can put another wrap on it, or even a less wrap than this if you have a real small one. I find that when you have a hackamore that you have to put 4 or 5 wraps on it, it makes the movement of you lose the integrity of the hackamore because you put so much weight on the heel knot that when you pick up to ask for your horse and you release it, there's so much weight on it that the hackamore falls off real quick and is shocky to the horse. So that's why size matters, length matters. You definitely want to have buy a hackamore that fits your horse. So now I'm going to talk about the beginnings. This is my rag. This is a rag hackamore. This thing's is older than Methuselah. And I use this to start all of our colts. This hackamore, I don't know how many, I mean, it's a 70s hackamore. It's a little big because we had bigger headed horses, but The rag hackamore is to work on the nose. You notice this rawhide up here is kind of crude, it's kind of rough, it's not smooth, it's not pretty. Well, that's because when we start those colts, we want to be able to pull them around a little bit and have it be a little rough. We don't want to mark them up if we can help it, but we want it to have a little bite. You want to, when you use the rag for the first time, you can snug up the jaw a little bit more because it's cotton, and you know, you can tighten it a little bit more than you would your rawhide hackamores, because it's not going to be biting on their jaw, and that way it won't slip over underneath their chin here and slip off of them. Also, you always see these strings, and some people ask, why do you got that funny looking nothing string on here? Most of our hackamores, for balance, will get really close to a horse's eye, the hanger, what we call the hanger, which is the headstall. And we make these hackamores 7 inches or less across the nose so it drops off a horse. But the downfall is that hanger or headstall will get really close to that eye, and when you pull a horse's nose, that hanger will push on the other eye, and you wonder why isn't my horse giving his nose? Well, on the other side, that headstall is poking him in the eye. So we make up a little string, and a chin strap, we call it, and we just pull that hanger back a little bit so it'll stay out of that horse's eye. But we need that short nose if we want to get the proper fit and we want to get the proper feel.